Hey guys, it's Chris. From finding a massive gold nugget, join me as I tell you about 9 people who got rich by accident. Number 9. The Welcome Stranger. A man once said gold is what makes the world go round. And though it's been many years since some of the most famous gold rushes, there's still a hunt for gold going on right now. And that includes in the nation of Australia, where they not only find the most clean gold out there, but some of the biggest gold nuggets ever. This includes the legendary Welcome Stranger gold nugget, the largest one ever found, period. 2 Cornish miners found the huge nugget dubbed the Welcome Stranger while prospecting in the goldfields of Victoria, Australia on the 5th of February 1869. John Dearson and Richard Oates met when they were young in Cornwall, and then eventually moved to Australia to become gold diggers and prospectors around 1863. At first, they didn't have much success, but everything would change in 1869. On a slope called Bulldog Gully, an enormous piece of gold encased in quartz was buried just below the surface. It was so big that, as Mr. Dearson wrote, "I tried to pry the nugget up with the pick, but the handle broke. Then got a crowbar and raised the nugget to the surface." The massive nugget actually had to be broken up because it couldn't fit on the scales that were available. Weirdly, though, was that despite it being a truly massive nugget, the two only got 10,000 pounds for it. This was a common theme in the olden days of gold mining, where miners were literally robbed of millions of dollars by people claiming that the price of gold was lower than it was. In today's market, the Welcome Stranger would be worth over 2 million pounds, not to mention the prestige value of the nugget given that Australian gold lacks impurity most of the time. Replicas of the Welcome Stranger are popular in the nation for photo ops, and many hope to find one like the Welcome Stranger so they can cement their own fortunes. Number 8. Wall Vault of Coins. If you were to have some spare change from a purchase, there is a menagerie of places you're likely to put it. But for one family, though, they went to an extreme. They decided to put their spare change into the walls of their home. No, truly, they decided to do that, and what would happen next would boggle the minds of many. This particular story occurred in Pennsylvania, in an abandoned house owned by a certain family. Some of their kids were playing in the house when they noticed some coins lying around. They didn't look like modern coins, so they took them back to their parents. Upon inspection, the parents realized that these coins weren't just old, they were rare. So they hired a man named Jeff Beetleman, who owned a rare collectible store, to search the house and see what else he could find. After inspecting the house, he found more coins, but he didn't stop there. He noticed a hole in the wall, one that seemed to be much different than a standard hole. Breaking into it so he could see more, he found a plethora of coins that had apparently been stored there by the people who lived there beforehand. The coins that he found weren't standard by any measure of the imagination. These were Liberty dimes, Morgan silver dollars, and more. If you added up the worth just on face value, it'd be around $8,500. However, further inspection showed the rarity of the coins, some of which made the worth of the coins around $200,000, which makes you wonder not only why the original owners of the coins put them in the walls, but why they sold the house with the coins still there. And now for number 7. But first, be sure to subscribe if you're new here and let me know what treasures you wish you had found by accident in the comments below. Number 7. Staffordshire Hoard. If a person is lucky, they'll use a metal detector to find something valuable, or even incredibly valuable. But to expect to find a plethora of items of value is a bit absurd. Yet that's what happened to Terry Herbert. On a hunch, he went to a farm near his home in Staffordshire, which is in England. After some scavenging around, he got a ping off the detector. He dug it up and found a rare artifact which should have been the end of the story. But he kept digging and digging and digging, and on until eventually 5 days later, he found 244 bags full of rare artifacts, a majority of them made of gold. The find was so huge that a full-on archaeological dig was called in. And once that team was done, they had found 3,500 objects of various size and materials, including gold, silver, bronze, and garnet. Research found out that these items were made around the Anglo-Saxon period of history. All told, the value of all of these items put together was around $3.5 million, which was split between Terry and the landowner that the hoard was found on. Number 6. St. Albans coins. A man named Wesley Carrington was from England and decided one day that he should go and get himself a metal detector. On his very first attempt to find something, he went to the forest near St. Albans. As he did, his detector went off, and as he dug, he found a gold coin, and then another. and another, and so on and so forth, until he found himself looking at 55 gold coins. But not just any gold coins, Roman gold coins, which were not only historically significant but also very valuable. The coins were bought by the British Museum's Portable Antiquities Scheme for nearly $150,000. But that's not the end of the story, for after digging further, an archaeological team found 104 more coins, thus making it one of the largest hoards of gold coins ever found in England. And all because Wesley got a metal detector and decided to search for treasure. Number 5. The Hawks Hoard. In 1992, a man named Peter Watling in Hawks, Suffolk in England needed help in finding a lost hammer that he had misplaced. He brought his friend Eric Laws and a metal detector and began to search the nearby field for his hammer. As they did, the metal detector went off multiple times. And as they dug, they were shocked to find gold and silver. After calling in the authorities to help out, they found even more of these rare items, all of which were later dated back to the Roman Empire. Upon appraisal, the massive hoard of gold and silver that they found was valued at around 1.7 million pounds. It's about $2.2 million, give or take. Since Laws found it, as it was his metal detector, the government of England offered to pay him the sum. Instead, he chose to split it with Watling. This noble gesture actually led to a change in the laws of England on this matter, allowing people to legally split the money of findings such as these. The Hawks Hoard are the largest collection of Roman gold and silver ever found in Great Britain. Number 4. RINGLE Gold Cup. Usually when an item is damaged, the value of said item goes way down. But in the case of the RINGLE Gold Cup, it was the value of the history that made it special, not exactly the item itself per se, which is why the guy who found it cleaned up nicely. So this is the tale of Cliff Bradshaw, who liked archaeology and loved using his metal detector to go and search for unique items. He one day went to a farm in Kent, England, and started to scan around the area when his metal detector went off. When he dug up what set it off, he found the RINGLE Gold Cup. This was from the Bronze Age and was dated to have been made around 1700 to 1500 BC. What's more, it's only one of 7 that had been found, making it not just valuable but also super rare. As for the damage, it was hit by a plow in the farm before Bradshaw had found it. But because of its rarity, the British Museum didn't mind paying $520,000 for it. The money itself was split between Bradshaw and the farm's owners. Number 3. Saddle Ridge Hoard. A couple in California was walking their dog on their private property in Gold Country, which is Sierra Nevada, California, in 2014. On this day, they went down a slightly different path than usual, and when they did, they found a metal can sticking up out of the ground. When they looked inside the can, they were shocked to see themselves looking at a plethora of gold coins, 1,427 of them to be exact. Now, if you were to take the literal value of the coins, they would be worth almost $30,000, which would make many people happy to be sure. However, the coins held a historical value as well, which meant the hoard itself was worth around $10 million. The range of the coins in terms of dates was also impressive, as they ranged from 1847 to 1894. So how did that range of coins get into a singular can? Well, no one really knows for sure. The two made sure they hid their treasure until they could verify and cash out. But they were also sure to keep their own home location quiet to make sure that people didn't come looking for more treasure. Number 2. The Royal One. In Australia, in a place called Lightning Ridge, a man named Bobby was out collecting rocks for his job. As he was sifting through them, he found himself looking at a very interesting-looking rock. It was one that sparkled, and because of that, he kept it. A decade later, Bobby got curious about the rock and decided to take it to a specialist. What the specialist revealed was that this wasn't an ordinary rock. It was an opal. What's more, it was a black opal, which is very rare, and just as importantly, very valuable. After being fully examined, the rock was measured at 306 carats. So just the value of the stone as he had it was over $756,000. But the stone would later be polished and refined, and then it would be valued at $3 million. Jewelry designer Catherine Jetter noted this about the black opal. The last significant opal stone of this nature, Aurora Australis, was found in 1938, Jetter explains. The Aurora Australis was considered the most valuable Lightning Ridge black opal ever found at the time, weighing 180 carats. It was valued at $1 million in 2005. You might think he was stupid for keeping the opal for 10 years unintentionally, but that decade of waiting likely upped its price by a wide margin. Number 1. The $2 million penny. Robert Lawrence was the son of a worker of the U.S. Mint in Denver, Colorado. However, when his dad died, he packed up all his belongings and took them to San Francisco with him. One of the things that his father left behind was a coin collection. After a while, he took the collection to an expert to be examined. When he did, the expert found a rare 1947 penny, one that wasn't made of copper. Because of this, the value of the coin was set at $300. But then the expert did a little more digging, and what he found was shocking. This penny was made of aluminum, pure aluminum. This was only done in 10 pennies, and all 10 were thought to have been lost. Turns out Lawrence's father had somehow gotten his hands on one, likely the only one in existence, and because of this fact, the penny, which is only worth 1 cent, became valued at $2 million. After a legendary court battle, Lawrence reached a settlement with the government and gave the penny back to them. It's hard to imagine such a struggle happening over a penny, or even a penny being valued at $2 million, but that's exactly what happened. Thanks for watching. What do you think of this look at times people accidentally wound up rich? Which story surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time.